Okay, hi again, this is Mandala. I'm back with another open world build, and so this time I'm going to show you Condi Quickness Berserker for open world. So on this build, I'm running full Celestial gear again, which I've been doing on a lot of these builds, plus Divinity Runes. I have infusions here, but you don't need them. Uh, it's going to run Sword, Torch, and Longbow with Superior Sigil of Strength and Superior Sigil of Malice, and then the Relic of the Fractal. And if you don't have Relic of the Fractal, you can drop Superior Sigil of Malice, run Relic of the Aristocracy, and run a different sigil here. So probably Bursting maybe, or whatever floats your boat, Earth, to get more crit bleeding. And so what this build focuses on is I saw when I was looking at Condi Quickness Berserker open world builds was that they weren't utilizing Heat the Soul, which I think is one of the stronger and more versatile support options. They were taking Blood Reaction, which is very strong, but I think whenever I see Quickness available in a viable form on a build, I always tend to want to pick it because I think it helps make the builds better. So this is Condi Quickness Berserker open world build, full Celestial, and it does really good damage. So I'm going to demo it real quick, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about how the build works. So you see about 19.3 damage on full Celestial Divinity Runes with Quickness, and you provide Quickness and Fury permanent uptime to allies around you, and a lot of Might because you're blasting Might. So this build is really strong, even though ArenaNet tried to Shadow Realm Condi Berserker a little bit on the last patch because it was too strong, right? People were saying that the Quickness uptime wasn't good, but for people who uh, I mean, there were just better ways to fix the problem here with Heat the Soul than to buff the quickness uptime up so much. And they just didn't do that. They just buffed the quickness uptime, and so therefore, Quickness Berserker became really busted, and so then they just, again, sent it to the Shadow Realm. But so just a little bit more to go into what this build is. You're running Arms, Discipline, and Berserker, and you're taking Wounding Precision, Sundering Burst, which gives us vulnerability on bursting, and then Furious, which allows us to get more condition damage from critting uh, when we hit things. Then you're running Discipline, and you're running this for a few reasons. You're running it because swapping weapons will give you Might. You're running it because it reduces the weapon swap retime. You're running it because it makes your longbow skills burn and have shorter cooldowns. And also because it makes bursting easier and removes conditions. Oh, sorry. Okay, and then so for the Berserker line, you're running Last Blaze, which means all of your rage skills burn when they hit. You're running Heat the Soul, again, which gives us quickness uptime and fury whenever we hit a burst kill on this internal cooldown, which comes up in this little icon here. And then King of Fires, which gives us increased burning duration and also helps us. We essentially explode our fire auras and do damage with them with this skill. So it just helps us bring up our condition damage a little bit. And so one thing I'll say about this build is if you're not super comfortable with the combo system for Guild Wars 2, it might not be the greatest fit because it does require you to think about it a little bit. One of the ways we're generating might is by blasting our fire fields with Longbow 3. And so for a quick demo of how that works, right? So this is a fire field, right? So if we cast that and then we blast it, boom, area might. So we just got 3 stacks of might on 30 seconds. So that's one of the ways, plus Sigil of Strength and the swapping, that we're building our might up to full. And so if you're not super comfortable with like combos, this might not be the build for you. But if you're willing to explore that part of the combat system, this is a really, I wouldn't say it's the strongest of builds because it does lack protection uptime, which honestly it's not going to affect you that much. But it's just a good build. I think if you're, and I think it's good for us to cover builds that even if they aren't the best build you could play, it's the best build I can think of for Berserker for open world. So another thing I wanted to do is demo the build with damage pressure. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And so the really the chief way you're healing is with Blood Reckoning. And so this skill will just heal you to full every 20 seconds, right? Because 33% of your damage is converted to healing, and if we're doing almost 20k damage per second, that's we get full health every time we press this button. So I'm gonna demo that real quick. Right, and so you see I did the rotation a little better, 19-7 with pretty high damage pressure on us, and we just healed a full every time because we have 30k health, we have almost 3100 armor, and good again, we just healed a full every time we press this button, and so you're just very tanky naturally, so you really don't need the protection to stay alive on this build in the vast majority of content. Um, So yeah, I think this is just a really strong build. It was way stronger before. It was hitting like 23, 24k DPS, and I should have filmed the video then, but I'm doing it now. So we're going to do a quick hero point just to show you that, hey, this does work in open world, and I'm going to switch this to Wild Blow just to have more CC. And so if you're struggling with anything, you can always trade this slot, which is the Sundering Leap slot. You can trade this for anything in your arsenal that'll help you survive or do CC or damage or whatever, but it will put you at risk of dropping out of Berserk mode more often. So a good thing is just to refresh yourself with how the rage mechanic works and how keeping up Berserk mode works, so that you can play this build a little better. So I'm gonna demo Hero Point real quick. So this has been my like go-to Hero Point to demo, if I can find it. It's in this little corner here. But yeah, so again, I don't think this is like the be all end all build. I think it's not as reactive as some of the other builds, but it is a fun little like just roll your face on your keyboard build. You can just press all your buttons off cooldown and you're pretty much playing it as well as anyone could. And so we're gonna do this hero point real quick, see how it goes. And it's going kind of poorly. So again, one of the things about this build is that you do need to be more cognizant of the fact that you don't have innate healing. You have to rely on the Blood Reckoning. So it's important that you press it at the right time and to make sure not to waste it if you don't need it for damage potential. You see, it's still going pretty well. Like, we did take a lot of damage there up front because I just wasn't trying to dodge anything. But you do heal to full every time you press that button, so as long as you're being cognizant of using this more reactively and not using it in your rotation, this is a really strong build that you can use for a lot of content. It's got good cleave, it's fine in story. The ramp up's a little slow, but it's really not going to affect you that much. Again, the damage is so high and you're so tanky that I mean, it's a good way to play this build. I think, again, I'm here sharing it because I think I didn't see fun ways to play Condi Berserker in the open world builds I was seeing, and I wasn't seeing an updated version of it. And so I think this is the best way to play it with the longbow and with the sword torch and with all your rage skills and getting full quickness and doing it that way. So here's a Condi Quickness open world Berserker. This is how I play a warrior in open world right now, so this is how I'm recommending you do it. Okay, bye.